Let's get down to business to defeat the Canadian division. Okay, I don't really mean that. I am a fan of the Canadiens, so completely destroying all of Canada isn't really something that I think I would want to happen, but, you know, in the context of the Vancouver Canucks, let's get down to business and discuss what happened over the past few games. Now, yesterday, we made our post-game Vancouver Canucks review over their 5-2 loss against the Calgary Flames, which I don't even want to go into, but that video had some spark of positivity behind it because I was talking about the Habs game as well. And if you know me well enough, I'm a fan of both the Canucks and the Habs, one of them being a very good team, one of them being a very bad team at the moment. So sharing the video over there was enough to balance out the emotional complications that either side contained. Because human beings have the capacity to feel so much positive and they have the capacity to feel so much negative. This huge spectrum of emotion that we all have, hey, would it really be living if you only really put yourself in one spot and not at least try to explore everything out there? So, for me, yesterday's video was catharsis, expressing my frustrations with the Vancouver Canucks and their inability to do anything, while also celebrating the Montreal Canadiens and their victories as well. But today we're focusing only on Vancouver because what I really wanted to go over here was just a whole bunch of quotes from the players, the coach, and how they've reacted to their slump, because yeah, it's a slump they're in right now. You could debate this is a very big deal, or you could debate it's not a big deal, because at the end of the day, they've lost 3 straight. Under normal circumstances, that would be seen as a minor slump. Hey, it's just a little hiccup in the road. But in a 56-game schedule where every game is against a Canadian team, and Canadian teams are winning points left and right, games are going to overtime, teams are getting up on top, there's a little bit more desperation in this certain scenario than there has been in previous other years before. Let's go over onto Rick Dollywall's Twitter account, because what he did after the Canucks game last night was he tweeted out a poll, and this kind of gives off what exactly is the market sentiment for Vancouver Canucks fans, because Dollywall, of course, he's a 1040 guy, he works here in Vancouver, and his Twitter account primarily involves Vancouver folk. The Canucks start the season 1-3. Are you concerned? Out of the currently 5,700 people who voted on this, 69% are saying yes. First off, nice. Second off, that is about, if we do the math, let's do 69% of 5,700. Yeah, it's about 4,000 people out of this poll are saying, yeah, I'm concerned. Because the way this Vancouver Canucks team was assembled, you know they still want to go out there and win. You want to see them in the playoffs. You want to see them outdo themselves from last year. You can debate whether or not that's possible because they don't have Tanev and Markstrom anymore, but at the same time, the replacements on paper are supposed to be good enough to replace them. But after yesterday's 5-2 loss against Calgary, we had a very few interesting set of quotes from some of the guys who have been playing the games and some of the guys who have been coaching the games. Let's go over and talk about what Travis Green said about the Vancouver Canucks' morale after their loss. Especially after that first period we had, that's a frustrated team tonight. And they should be. They should be disappointed, Travis Green says about his own hockey team. Travis Green also said that it was turnovers and penalties that allowed the Flames to steal the momentum back after that first period. I thought tonight was a step in the right direction for the penalty killers, but if you give that team 7 power plays, they're going to score. So it's discipline, it's consistency, it's staying out of the box. If we go over onto NHL.com and just take a look at some of the team stats, you know, these are some of the interesting little things you can do on this website. The Vancouver Canucks at the time of this recording have the 4th worst penalty kill in the league with 66.7%, tied with Philadelphia, who is 3rd. Also for power play, guess what? The Vancouver Canucks are one of the 8 NHL teams who have not scored a power play goal this year. So much for finishing 4th in power play percentage last year. Oh, Lego, it's only 4 games, calm down. Yeah, okay, I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. They could definitely turn this around and eventually become good again. But at the time of this recording, it's so funny to note how the Vancouver Canucks short-handed penalty killers have more goals than the actual power play. Let's continue. This is what Travis Green said about Elias Pettersson, because believe it or not, Pettersson is actually a very interesting topic in this discussion here. Yeah, I'll probably talk to Petey before the next game. Is he squeezing the stick a little bit? He could be now. I'm sure it's on his mind. He hasn't had the start he wants. He's a great young player. He'll get through it. Pettersson himself said about this game, "I was just disappointed in myself for being selfish." He spoke about letting the team down, and also how he took dumb penalties that are not acceptable. In fact, the video tweeted out by the Canucks Twitter page starts off with Pettersson answering a question saying that maybe he's not playing with the most confidence right now, which, I get it. It's understandable to see why somebody would be in that position after being one of the hottest young NHL players, especially in Canada, to come out here with only a point in 3 games played and have that performance like he had last night. Obviously, I don't want to make it seem like I'm blaming Elias Pettersson, but as I said in the previous video, if I said I was satisfied with what he's been doing so far, I'd be lying. But like Travis Green said, we all know Pettersson is better than that. We all know he's probably going to find his groove sooner or later. It's just we really hope he finds it sooner. Here are some other quotes from the guys on the PK. This is what Jay Beagle said about that certain performance where they went 5 for 7 on their penalty killing. Sure, 5 for 7, great. They killed 5 penalties, but they still let in 2 goals. This is what Beagle says: "You lose some sleep after a game like that because it's the reason we lost." Beagle also talked about structural issues and missed assignments. It's something that we talked about a lot over video, and we have to make adjustments. I hope they do make adjustments because it would probably be better if they did. Full credit to the PK, Travis Green did say this as well. They've been getting somewhat better. I'm getting more and more confident watching this PK unit go out there and actually clear pucks and give the opponent a tough time breaking in, but it's difficult when the guys who penalty kill for you are going to the box. At the very least, we're getting all these kinks sorted out early on in the season, and again, I said it before, 3 games, 4 games in, under normal circumstances, it might seem like not that much of a big deal, but in a condensed 56-game schedule where every game is pretty much a very mini kind of series against another Canadian team that you're looking to kick out of the postseason and slot yourself into instead, things get a little bit more intense. But when it comes to the Vancouver Canucks and their performance as a whole, I think JT Miller kind of sums it up the best. We just need to be better pros. We get paid a lot of money to do this. And you know what? He's right. Obviously, I'm not the guy sitting there making $6 million sitting on the press box or in the bench or in the penalty box or whatever, but I love that JT Miller leadership quality that he's displayed over the past year and a half. It's been pretty prevalent over the past few interviews and the media and all that stuff that JT Miller has always been one of the more vocal, the more loud voices in the locker room. Not loud in a funny way like Nate Schmidt is, where he just jokes around a lot, but loud in a very serious, this is how you gotta get it done kind of way on the ice. I think it was Besser and Petey who said in a few interviews that Miller is always talking, he always knows what he wants to do, he's always directing traffic. And that's the kind of leadership quality you expect out of a guy who is probably in his prime right now and who is mentoring the guys on his line, Besser and Pettersson, 2 guys who have so much to prove this year and who have all been a part of a slump that the entire team shares and will be looking to get out of over the next few games. It's just worrisome for me because the Canucks play the Canadiens next in their little mini-series that will kick off this year, and the Canadiens, if you've been following this YouTube channel, they've been good. They have been good. I've been saying it the entire time, man. The Canadiens, in my opinion, are going to be the top team in the Canadian division. And not just because I'm a Habs fan am I saying that, but because of their overall depth, the additions they made, the quality of the guys that they have out there. They're probably the best team in Canada, in my opinion. And if they tune up what they had problems with in the previous game yesterday, which was, oddly enough, the same as the Vancouver Canucks going to the box too much, we'll see what happens. I will say, though, the Canadiens, they gave up 7 power plays to the Oilers last night, but their penalty killing was 100%. Vancouver gave up the same amount of penalties, but their penalty killing was down there at, 5 out of 7. What's the math on that? I don't know. Point is, though, penalty killing, we'll see what happens. I just really hope the Vancouver Canucks are able to find a way to tune out all of the things that they have been having problems with, because it's not only just the power play, but consistency as a whole. We know what this team is capable of when they're at their best. We saw it in that first period against Calgary. But consistency, playing more than 20 minutes a game, playing full 60-minute hockey, and looking good while doing it, that is their task, and we'll see if they're able to iron things out and actually fix that into the next few weeks. Right now, some Canucks fans are panicking. I'm honestly the same way. A part of me says I shouldn't be panicking because if the Canucks suck, then hey, Luke Hughes will be there in the top 10 of this year's NHL draft, but I think the majority of the fan base does not want to think about Luke Hughes, and they want to think about the second round of the playoffs. So we'll see how things go on. Talk to me in the comments what you think about this video, the quotes that we discussed. Travis Green, Petey, Miller, Jay Beagle, etc. I also have another question too. Am I being too harsh on the Canucks? Really? Like, take a look at it and rationally dissect within your own thought process. Do you think that I, Lego Rocks 99, the guy who's making a video about the Vancouver Canucks, am being too harsh on my favorite hockey team? If you think so, tell me in the comments. If you think not, let me know in the comments as well. Hope you enjoyed this video, 99, and bye.